Hey, welcome back to Adventures with Peps. We are finally painting some ABC Warriors. Now, we unboxed this one a while ago. It was part of the Wave 1 set and it came with Black Blood, and we still have Genghis to go with. But today we are painting Raz Putin. Right, as you can see, I had the Gravelord Grey in my hand, and the model was primed black and then very heavily dry brushed with white scar. Please be careful when dry brushing this model. It has these little annoying claws that you can see, and they snap off so easy if you're not paying attention. So, who is Raz Putin? Raz Putin was a Volgan attempt to surpass the mystic arts of the Knights Marshals. Raz Putin's experiments in Gnostic magic were reputedly acclaimed as being more advanced than Deadlock's. Ooh, so he is meant to be the baddies version of Deadlock. He's not as strong as Deadlock, we can definitely say that for him. He is a minor character, only notoriety of 14, but he is pretty good actually. To be fair, you'll always have more bad guys than good guys in this game, it seems, but the good guys do have better stats. He is obviously an upstart Chaos Magister. He associates with Black Blood, Mechquake, Volgan, Baba Yaga, Golag, if I can get that word out, Easy Steam, Volkong, Genghis. He can ally with Howd Quartz and obviously the Volgan war robots, and his enemies are the ABC Warriors. He moves 5, shoots 3, fights 3, evade 1, resist 4, and a cool of 3. He only has one special rule, which is the Lord of the Arcane. Raz Putin allows you to hold an extra tarot card in your hand. As a single action, he can summon power. You can draw a tarot card. If the card is Chaos or Major Arcana, add it to your hand. If it is an order card, you have to give it to your opponent. So hit and miss with that power. And then he is armed for close combat. So as you can see in the picture, he's got those 2 swords of black light. They are range 1 inch, +1 modifier, +1 versus robots. They have the rules Electro and Mystic. You may discard 0 to 3 tarot cards and give yourself a +1 modifier. So if you got rid of 3 tarot cards, you get +4 against most robots, which is pretty badass. Plus a +1 for the swords anyway. So what we have? 4 + 5. So he could be a fight 8 if you really wanted to go in on it, which is pretty mean. And to be fair, I don't know the rules fully yet, so I don't know what Electro is, but I assume that will probably do stun results. It's going to be something like that in my mind. So he is pretty badass. Pretty badass. Now, pictures you'll see on Warlord Games website are beautifully rendered images of this model. The globe that makes up his body looks really cool. I will attempt it, but believe me, it's not going to come close to that. If you're after a masterclass in painting ABC Warriors, you've come to the wrong channel. By now you should know, I love to do stuff that is tabletop ready, quick and dirty. I want to get playing games. I don't want to be wasting all my time painting. Obviously, everybody's different. You want to take longer? You take longer. You want something that just looks good from 3 foot away? Welcome to the channel. Whilst I'm finishing up this Gravelord Grey, it's probably a good time to say like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you want to join the Discord, the chance to join for free has sadly ended. There is still a chance. If you can impress me enough with a comment down below, I'll send you the link. Otherwise, you can buy me a cup of coffee. That's it. There is a membership down below for, I think it's $2.50. It pays for a cup of coffee. And in exchange, you'll get the Discord link, which obviously helps prove you're not a spam bot. But you'll also get a little thank you note pop up in the video. So please consider it. It does help me out. It will help fund my coffee addiction at the very least. With the Gravelord Grey now complete, we move on to the Citadel Contrast Paint Flesh Tear Red. It's a no-brainer. When you look at the picture, it's a dark red. Flesh Tear Red, it's a dark red. It's the one I had to go with. My other option was the Blood Red from Army Painter, but I fear that is way too bright. And I'm not going to put washes on this. I'm just going to use the contrast paints and speed paints. So we're going with the Flesh Tear Ren. This cloak is all over the place. I love it. It is ultimately a drifting ball of chaos energy with a robot strapped to it. So this cloak is very dynamic. It's flowing. It's moving around a lot. So just take your time. This is a time-consuming stage, so I'll show a few more swipes of the red going down, and then we will skip on forward. And through the power of editing, we have the red cloak now complete. I am 15 minutes into painting it, and I've got the two big areas complete. The globe is going to be green, and then we obviously have the two swords. I'm not entirely sure. They did a wonderful wet blend. I would imagine I am going to do a cheap and dirty version of it, starting off with the Magos purple. I'm going to make sure I just cover the entire blade with this. This colour is going to be the highlighted inner part of the sword, and we're going to use a darker purple later for the tips. Obviously there's 100% better ways of doing this, but like I said, I'm going to spend 25 minutes tops on this model. We're sitting at 15 minutes and 30 seconds. So I've only got 10 minutes left. People wonder why I speed paint. It's purely because I don't have time. I've got a huge back collection of figures. I want to play the game. I just don't have enough hours in the day to say I'm going to spend 10, 15, 20 hours on a single model. That's beyond my reach. It's probably also beyond my skill set at this time. So I'm just doing this quick and dirty. And look at it. I think it looks fine. I'm obviously not going to win any awards, but it's looking good. So with the swords drying, I move on to the orc flesh for the globe. I'm going to try and leave the central point a lighter colour, or I'm going to come back. You know what? I'm going to paint the whole thing orc flesh. So the whole globe is going to be green. Just going to be careful because the red is still wet. And I don't want it mixing in with this green. I don't mind it so much in the shaded areas because it'll just make the green darker. But the front of the globe, I'm going to try and try and paint some white lines on it to kind of look like a sparkly energy center. I don't know if I can pull it off. It's not going to be easy. But the white scar paint is on standby. And then I'm also going to be using the Tesseract glow when we get to it. But yeah, as you can see, I actually picked up some of the red into the green, which was very annoying. But I managed to wash it out by getting more of the paint on the brush. So I've kind of made a misty swirly effect with the paint. It's hard to tell on this video. I'm going to let it dry, and with it dry, I grab the white scars. We're going to do the little skull motif that is on his forehead. Going to do the eyeballs, and we're also going to try and do some like lightning energy lines on the globe. It's not going to go well. I can tell you that much already. Trying to do steady freehand is not my strong suit whatsoever. Really, I should have picked a smaller brush, but I did not, so I'm just swiping it. Annoyingly, because of my lamp, the white paint was drying so quickly on the brush. It was a pain to try and get this to work for me. I then ended up overloading the brush, as you can now see. And my lightning bolts went sloppy. They just looked like chunky lightning lines. I don't know how you would describe it. And the paint was still drying super fast. So it got a bit frustrating. Not going to lie. The paint was just not going down. But I came up with that design. That's the best I could do at this time. I decided to let it dry. And I moved on to the Luxion purple. And I just swiped the top of the sword and the bottom of the sword. Did this on each side, leaving that middle part the lighter purple. just so it looked highlighted. And then I'll do the reverse. Sorry, it's a bit blurry. Just trying to make it even all the way around. It's quite a simple step. Obviously, you could have wet blended. If I'd have done it sooner with the Magos purple, I probably could have just mixed the two together. Ultimately, it works. It's mine. I like the way it looks. Obviously, not going to win any awards, but look, it works. From 3 foot away, it looks great. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I really am. I know I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. Right, with the swords now drying, we move on to the Tesseract Glow. We're going to make sure we cover all those white lightnings with a nice heavy coating of it. And then we're going to go over all the green. This is going to help smooth out that orc flesh colour. And also when this Tesseract green glow dries, it's going to show that orc flesh through perfectly. So there shouldn't be any real issues there. So I'm going to use this to help smooth out the orc flesh green. Let it dry nicely. And we should have something that looks half decent from 3 foot away. And with that, we are getting into the fiddly stuff now. So as you can see, I tried to use a giant brush to paint the eyes. Quickly decided that was the wrong life choice. So I grabbed a smaller brush. And as you will see, this first swipe that I do is probably the right amount. And that's where I should have stopped. Instead, for some unknown reason, I decided to load up the brush and go back in again. And as you can see from the brush, it is flooded and I overload the eyeballs. Now, because this is a wash, it probably would have dried up and dissipated, but I wasn't going to take the risk. So I dried up the brush, and with the dry brush, I just absorbed the excess off. Cleaned it up, and actually it looked fine in the end, and it did dry up and look neater in the final product. But yeah, luckily with these speed paints and shade washes, you can mess around with them if you have a dry brush. So all that's left now is the skull on the forehead, and we're going to use Raz Dredd yellow for that. And this is going to be a very quick step. Just need a tiny bit on the brush, slap it down, and we can get into the glamour shots. As always, I do appreciate you stopping by. If you learnt something, drop me a comment. If you didn't, drop me a comment. Make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you with the glamour shots. Now, if I've inspired you at all, please drop me a like, a comment, subscribe, whatever. Just say hi. If you've made it this far into the video, drop me a star in the comments and say hi, and I'll say hi back. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back soon. And I think tomorrow's going to be an unboxing video, so I'll see you then. Cheers for watching.